اشتغلت. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين صلى الله عليه وسلم. Welcome all of you in the first meeting for us after Eid al-Fitr. We ask Allah the Almighty to make our meeting a blessed one and our disperse after it as a blessed one, and not to make among us anyone who is saddened or prevented from Allah's mercy. May Allah inshallah bless all of you. You know, last time we talked before about the laziness that happens to everybody after the energy of work. For each work there is a level of energy, and after that there is also a level of laziness. No one can be as energy all the time. It has to be 1 hour and another. So sometimes it is natural to be a little bit lazy or less energy or less active. But sometimes that laziness that goes beyond the natural way, that requires remedies to correct that. We always say in the end of Ramadan, and we talked about this this act that happened to the people of religion after the month is over, from a great energy and livelihood to a big laziness, and how you deal with this. First we talked about its reasons, and today inshallah we'll talk about some of the remedies to treat it and how do you deal with it. The first thing we meet in this issue is to renew your faith, because laziness in general, it's act of weakness in faith, and it covers the heart, because the faith stays in the faith in the heart of each one of you, just like the new clothes, new dress. It does go bad with time. So ask Allah Azza wa Jal to always renew the faith in your heart. And this is the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. Another hadith, the saying of the Prophet ﷺ, none of the hearts, there is no heart that does not have a cloud just like the cloud of the moon. While the moon is bright, a cloud will cover him, and as soon as it passes, it will shine again. So every heart that has this kind of cloud, because you see the moon is bright and filled the whole earth with light at night. So when the cloud covers him or passes by, it will darken any area underneath it, and after it passes, it will bring the light of the moon again. And the saying of Allah Azza wa Jal, those who fear Allah, if they are touched with anything from the shaitan, they remembered, then they are all aware. And you could imagine this, for a touch from the shaitan, it's the laziness, that you remember Allah Azza wa Jal. And once you remember Allah Azza wa Jal, then you know that this is from the shaitan, then you re-energize yourself. And the believer always rush to Allah Azza wa Jal to renew that faith in his heart. And the way to protect your faith and increase it in the heart, because the faith increases with the obedience of Allah and decreases with the sins. To keep the obligations, the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, and to stay the night prayers, and not to leave the witr, and do as many non-obligatory prayers and acts of worship as much as you can. And we live this occasion because nowadays we are among those who fasted Ramadan and following that the 6 days of Shawwal. I'm sure it is full. And if you haven't started, alhamdulillah, we still have plenty of time, so it's good to start again and make sure it's easier for you to start immediately, because it will be a natural continuation of Ramadan. With no gaps, this will, when there is no gap, then there is no laziness. So continue your energy, you continue your own strength. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal the success in that part. Also, the charity is another way that increase the faith, to be kind to the parents, to the relatives, and to the orphans, and to come early to the masjid, to Umrah, Hajj, i'tikaf in the masjid. All these good deeds increases the faith in the heart of each person. It increases and it will reduce any hardship that he might do in his life. The Prophet ﷺ used to say, relieve us with it, O Bilal, that he ﷺ used to find relief in the prayers from the daily affairs, relief in the prayers from everything in this world. Also, another remedy for that is to be God conscious and to remember Allah at all times. And this God conscious is to always to worship Allah as if you see Him. If you don't see Him, He does see you. And this is a level that all of us look forward to it. Most people don't have that level of piety. And the highest level of is al-ihsan, which is to worship Allah as if you see Him, and you keep remembering Him and be God conscious at all times. That overtake every action you do. And this is the highest level of faith and ihsan. When someone in his conscience and his heart feel that Allah Azza wa Jal is watching him when he's walking, when he's giving charity, whenever he talks, whenever he prays, when he's making fasting, any action he does, he's always knows that Allah is watching him. So how he is going to act, how he's going to perfect that deed, this is where you will find the difference in the action of different people. Depends on the way they are God conscious and how they want Allah Azza wa Jal, whom they know that are watching Him, accept from them and to see how good He will be doing. Allah said, do not fear Allah and fear me. Do not fear them, fear me. If you are believers, and whomever feared Allah's status, you have two paradise, two gardens. And whomever feared Allah's position and stopped his desires, his soul from following the desires, then Allah has promised him heavens. And the other remedy also to glorify Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah said they did not know Allah's status as He should be. To be God conscious requires the faith, the complete faith in all the Allah's knowledge. Allah says there is no secret between three, Allah is his fourth, and five, He is their sixth, and nothing less or more. He is with them everywhere they go, and then He will tell them what they did at the Day of Judgment. And whatever you recite from Quran or an act that you do, Allah is witnessing over it while you are exposing it, and nothing can hide from Him in the heavens or earth, or no shorter or smaller or higher. It's all written in a very documented and a very clear book. Allah knows the secret and anything else that you hide. And also to faith in Allah's knowledge that it covers everything, and His capabilities of everything. Of course, knowing this in your heart calms your heart and energizes your faith and strengthen your faith in your heart. And this will resurrect whatever the unawareness has caused in the heart. And this will bring the love and the hope with Allah. Because the servant is always in his heart, always fluctuate between two things. A balanced act between the love of Allah and the fear and the hope. To love Allah, where Allah and His Messenger are more beloved to you than anything else beside them. Think about this statement. Don't take it as a passing statement that Allah and His Messenger are more beloved than anything else beside them. No one will believe until I am more beloved to him than his self, his parents, and his sons, and the whole entire people. And also the fear, whomever fear Allah's status, and also the hope of Allah, so you will not feel despair of Allah's mercy, because no one feels despair of Allah except those who are astray, or the disbelievers, or the disobedience. And whomever worship Allah by love by itself, he is wrong. And whomever worship Allah by fear only or hope, he is missing in his faith. And the best is to balance between all these three acts. You worship Allah with love in Him, and with fear of Him, and with the hope of Allah's mercy. And the life, you always fear Allah Azza wa Jal, so you will not exceed in the limits that Allah has allowed you. When the person is hit with the death, then he always favor the meeting of Allah, the good thinking of Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah's Messenger ﷺ went to a young man who was taking his last breath. So he ﷺ told him, "How do you find yourself?" And the young man said, "I seek Allah and I fear my sins. I seek Allah, I fear Allah, and I hope with I hope of Allah's mercy, and I fear for my sins." The Prophet ﷺ replied, "No one have this combined in his heart, where he fears Allah and hope of His mercy, that Allah will make it obligatory on him to enter Jannah." So let's be concerned that let's keep our tongue in remembrance of Allah. Allah said, "Those who believe and their hearts are calmed with the remembrance of Allah." Indeed, with the remembrance of Allah, the hearts are calmed. We have indicated several times that remembrance of Allah Azza wa Jal can be with His names and attributes, or with remembering Allah Azza wa Jal with His obligations of the things He forbids, or with His favors and His bounties. So you remember Allah's names and attributes, so you could put a gratitude to Allah Azza wa Jal with His names and His beautiful attributes. And the best of this, the remembrance that is known from the Prophet ﷺ, Subhanallah bihamdi, Subhanallah al-Azim, Subhanallah bihamdi, all these dua that the Shaykh is reciting right now. Or you stay in the gathering of ilm, that you remember Allah Azza wa Jal, you teach people of Allah's names and favors and attributes. And also to remember Allah Azza wa Jal to remember Allah Azza wa Jal at all times. Whenever you are about to sin against Allah Azza wa Jal, and then you remember Allah Azza wa Jal, and that stop you from pursuing that what Allah has forbidden. This is all part of Allah. Or to remember Allah Azza wa Jal with His bounties, because the bounties of Allah, you cannot compile them, you cannot know them. Remember when I'm driving, how many times that you pass by a car and you find it too close to have an accident, but it didn't happen. Now, if an accident happened, what are the things you have to go through that you cannot think about? Indeed, if you count Allah's bounty, just one bounty, you cannot count it. You cannot see the benefit of it. The one who said this is Allah Azza wa Jal. And Allah did not say this out of to increase on something. No, with the truth He have revealed the Quran, or with the truth it came down. And Allah did not send the Prophet ﷺ except as a warner and a glad tidings. Indeed, the human being is a transgressor and hide the bounties of Allah. We stress on this because a lot of people did not know this, and a lot of people think that I am working in writing and making all types of all my act is to Allah Azza wa Jal. Yes, indeed, that's true, but for each part of for each act there is a way of acting, and so don't forget to give every part its dues, because each one of them, it will give you the strength. Because what you can do with the dhikr, what you cannot do without it. Ibn al-Qayyim says, I have seen of the strength of Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, strange things, because he used to write every day what people write in 1 week or 2. And his power in the time of war is very amazing. And then he said, I met him one time, he prayed the Fajr. And then he sat down, remember of Allah, until almost daytime, till Dhuhr time. Then he said, this is my lunch. If I didn't have that lunch, my strength will fall down. This is my breakfast. If I didn't have that breakfast, I will fall. And the hadith of Abi Musa al-Ash'ari, the saying of the Prophet ﷺ, O Abdullah ibn Qais, said, yes, O Prophet of Allah. It is Abu Musa al-Ash'ari. Abdullah ibn Qais is Abu Musa al-Ash'ari. He told him, do you want me to tell you about treasure from the heavens? He said, oh yes, O Prophet ﷺ. He said, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. To say, there is no change in power or condition from one condition to another except with Allah Azza wa Jal. Or the Prophet ﷺ said in a different narration, say, La hawla wa quwwata illa billah. It is a treasure from the heavens. Ibn al-Qayyim replied saying, this word, that statement had the great effect in reducing the greatest hardship and to bring calmness to the heart when someone is afraid of something. So keep saying La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. The statement has a great effect, amazing effect in order to to pass through all the hardships, no matter how difficult they are. Ameen. Sincerity and piety. The weakness of sincerity is one of the reasons of this laziness. So to renew your sincerity, you should always make Allah Azza wa Jal will put a light in your heart. Allah said, "Oh, who you believe, if you fear Allah Azza wa Jal, He will make a divider. If the one who is dead and we have woke him up and we give him light, that he walks between people. Is he the same in that's an example of those who are in the darkness he cannot leave?" Just imagine this ayah that you always find people talk about. If you feared Allah Azza wa Jal, you're sincere about it. It's someone who is dead and you made to him a light that he walks between people. Is he equal as the one who is his example in the darkness that he cannot leave? Oh, you believe Allah and follow His messenger, He will give you double your reward, and He'll give you a light that you could walk with it, and He forgives you. Allah is most forgiving. The slippery road in the sake of Allah's da'wah are very, and the best tool to pass that period is by being God conscious. Allah said that for those who struggle in our path, Allah will guide them. Another remedy is to clear the hearts. Allah Azza wa Jal has put a favor on the Prophet ﷺ by clearing his heart. Allah said in the Quran, "Alam nashrah laka sadrak," that we open up your heart, your chest, meaning He made it higher. And then Allah has complimented the believers who said in their dua, "Do not leave any hatred in our hearts to those who have believed." And in the Muslim, and the believer and the disbeliever, Allah mentioned them. Whomever Allah likes, He will open his heart to Islam. And whomever Allah wants to make him astray, He will make him not accepting the rules of Allah. So to go back to another remedy is to reduce or to take out any hardship that you have in the heart toward anybody. There is nothing harder to the heart that it is full of desire and hatred. And a person of that sort, he will not be happy in any sort of work. Nothing will save the person at the day of judgment except the pure heart. Allah said, at the day where no sons or wealth will help except for those who came to Allah with a pure heart, with a corrected heart. To correct your heart, you have to make excuses for people, because the smartest people, the person who gives more reasons for people to accept their deeds and their saying from their face value, and to return the bad action against you with goodness, because Allah said, bring down or bring a gift or bring the forgiveness to those who have done you wrong. And whomever forgave and corrected, his reward on Allah. At the day of judgment, Allah said, where are those who reward on the merciful? No one will stand up except those who forgives people. Remember the companions that the Prophet ﷺ said that he is among the people of Jannah. And then Abdullah ibn Umar, or one of the Abdullahs, he followed him, and he found they don't do nothing more. He said, why would Prophet ﷺ say that you are among the people of paradise? He said, because when I go to sleep, I don't leave any hardship in my heart toward any of the Muslims. And also, what you use in this laziness, to fight laziness, is to stay with the places of dhikr, because the dhikr is knowledge, and knowledge is light. Allah Azza wa Jal will increase for those who have the knowledge several status. No one fear Allah Azza wa Jal as he should be feared except the scholars. Because Allah said in Surah Al-Imran, indeed those who fear Allah is the scholars. With the increase of the scholars, the more action that Allah Azza wa Jal gives him, because this person knew Allah Azza wa Jal, and he's more of God, aware of Allah Azza wa Jal. So these kind of people, whenever they increase in their knowledge, they increase in their action. So make sure that you convey a message instead of just gossiper or backbiter. The knowledge comes with deeds. Either they are combined or they will be separated. Meaning, always look of your day, how much did you benefit from knowledge that Allah Azza wa Jal has made for you. The difference between the servant of Allah and the servant, a different one is just like the light of the moon at a very clear night. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to accept, inshallah. We'll continue Thursday, inshallah. Salah.
مثل نوره كمشكاة فيها مصباح